7:14 on this Thursday. We want to welcome Jack Clayton.
Good morning. I'm good. And hi to Mom. I know she's listening, so I just wanted to say hello. How are you doing?
I'm good. How you been?
We've had some beautiful days, and it's just been wonderful.
Oh, it has been gorgeous.
This is the kind of year, if it was like this 6 months a year, there'd be 12 million people living here. You know, we've got a lot going on, Dale, and so I've got a lot to talk about this morning, and I'm so pleased to have some guests with me.
Microphone's all yours.
Thank you. We, Nature's Way, the health food store on the square, as you know, we focus on organic produce and organic and GMO-free foods, as well as a large supplement and vitamin section in the store. And over the last year or so, we've been pleased with Jake Anderson, who is a manager at Nature's Way and sports nutrition specialist, to be able to well, just kind of help people get started with exercise regimens and to learn a little bit more about our trails here in Mtn Home. And we've done how many trail walks did we do earlier this year? 3.
We did 3, and then we ended up with a 4th one that was a benefit walk that took place at the country club.
Right. And then last year we started a program with the Master Naturalist called the Big Bluff Challenge. And this was Jake's idea, and it came out that it was just very well attended and very popular, so we're repeating it again this year. The Big Bluff Challenge, which will be held out at both shows, and Jake's going to talk about that in a few minutes. We do this for, well, a lot of reasons. A, it's just beautiful out there, and it's going to be beautiful again this year, just like it was last year. And B, it helps people get out and see these trails and experience things in an organized way that you can't do any other way. And C, it's a way for us to support the Master Naturalists. And with me today also is Ann Chris, who is president of our local chapter of the Master Naturalists. And I'm going to ask her here in a second to tell us a little bit about the Master Naturalists. But all of the proceeds that we raise from this particular event will go to the Master Naturalists and the fine work that they do on the trails. So Ann, I'd like to kind of have you step in here a little bit and tell us about the Master Naturalists. Now, you're the president of the local chapter.
I am.
So tell us what you all do out there.
Well, thank you, Jack. First of all, I want to say thank you to Nature's Way for this partnership that we have developed over the past year. It's really been a great boon to the North Central chapter of the Arkansas Master Naturalists. The Arkansas Master Naturalists started in 2007 with a group in Little Rock, and then they've spread out, and there are now 7 chapters statewide, and we were the 3rd chapter to be organized. We have 120 members right now.
Oh my goodness, I didn't realize you were that large.
So, well, we are the 3rd largest chapter in the state. Mm-hmm. With Northwest being the biggest, and then Central, which is out of Little Rock, the 2nd biggest. And then there are us. And what we do with the funds that we acquire from Nature's Way, we help the local state park and the Army Corps of Engineers maintain the trails along Norfolk Lake and around Bull Shoals State Park. What we do with the funds that we receive from Nature's Way, the benefit races, we maintain our equipment, which consists of chainsaws and leaf blowers and that type of thing, to keep the trails in good shape so they're safe for people who want to hike them.
Well, that's terrific. If I understand it correctly, you don't have a lot of fundraisers going on.
No. Historically, we've never had a fundraiser, and our chapter has never had a partnership with a local business. So we want to make sure that the people at Nature's Way understand how important this partnership has become for us. Because we don't have fundraisers, our funds come primarily from an occasional grant that we might write, and also dues from the membership. Yep.
Okay. Well, thank you, Ann. I appreciate you being here this morning, and we're really, Nature's Way is really excited to be a part of this program. Jake, maybe you could step in and tell us a little bit about the Big Bluff Challenge, like when it's going to be and what's going on.
Sure. It's going to be October 24th. We've decided to move the time up to 8 a.m. this year. We've gone to a little bit different registration process. People can still come into the store and pre-register, and I will get them put into the computer. But they can also go to ultrasignup.com, and that site has different pictures of the trail. It allows them to put their name in, and also it'll keep the results for us. So if they ever decide to do the race again, or other races that are in the area or all across the United States, it'll put them in a database and tell them how well they do against others. It just keeps the records for us, so it makes it a little smoother.
When you say race, it makes it sound like I shouldn't be in this.
That's yeah, I do that because I am typically going at these things as a race, but this really is. It's the Big Bluff Challenge. We actually had more hikers last year than we had actual competitors. So I try to encourage everybody. It's for all ability levels. You know, go out there and enjoy it. If you want to try to run a personal best, you can do that, or you can just go out there and just take your time and enjoy the scenery. It's a beautiful time of year, like Jack said.
When you're talking about personal bests and all of that, now you're an elite runner yourself. You run in a lot of contests around the state and in the 4-state area and so on. So there's a group of folks here that actually run these trails. I mean, we're not talking.
They take it serious.
Around the corner. Jake runs 50 and 100-mile races.
And some of these trails are pretty primitive.
Yeah, well, and that's right.
They are.
Yeah.
The Twin Lakes area, and especially around the lakes, it gets really rocky.
No.
Not so much roots, you know. It really does, and that's where the master naturalists come into play. Because if they weren't out there, we already have some leaves falling off by the 24th. You know, some not real bad, but being able to get the leaves blown off there so you can see where your footing's going, it really opens it up for everybody to get out there. You know, so.
Yeah, and not only that, there are usually a few fallen branches
You
and
bet.
trees that have to be removed before people can safely either hike or run them. So.
Yeah.
So looking at the Big Bluff Challenge, now this one's out at Bull Shoals, right? The exact location at Bull Shoals?
The easiest way is when you're going into Bull Shoals State Park is you're following the Powerhouse Road. It is, yeah.
Yep.
And you're just going to follow that road. You're going to bypass the campground and just keep going right, and you'll end up at the base of the dam. You know, you won't be able to go any further. There's a big parking lot there, and that's where we kind of stage, you know, the start and finish right out there.
What kind of shape do you need to be in to come and enjoy the Big Bluff Challenge, really?
I say it's all ability levels. You know, we can have young kids, we can have seniors. There is one strenuous climb that leads to the Big Bluff, you know, where we actually have the overlook of the White River and the dam, basically the best part of the trail. So that rise is about 200 feet. If you take your time, you know, it's easily accomplished.
I was out there at Christmas.
Yeah.
Had
So
some family come in, and with all the leaves off the trees, it was really pretty.
yeah.
Oh, it's a beautiful walk through there.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. That's why it's a scenic trail. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous, especially
So-
that time of year.
So take your time. You know, if you're just going out there to enjoy it, take your time. Last year we had some people out on the trail for about an hour, and they really enjoyed it. You know,
Yeah.
I'm sure they were stopping and taking pictures. And
Some people finished in probably half an hour, 15 minutes.
I think the actual winner, Rusty Harvey, came in about 22 minutes, and he's looking
Yeah.
for a competitor this year. So
These guys take this seriously when they're running those things. But the way the race is started is you're not going to be in anybody's way. It's going to be it's
Yep.
all organized so that different skill levels can
shotgun
can
start.
enjoy
I kind
this.
of have that. You know, if you're looking to really compete right off the bat, it is on the road. It starts off on the road for 3/4 of a mile, so you're not going to bottleneck right there at the trailhead. You know, so that's an advantage that we have starting there. The runners can go off ahead. The hikers, you know, can kind of fall back and then get in your groups and talk and enjoy it.
So it could take anywhere from, if you're running it, from 20 minutes to say an hour or so to walk it, probably.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, just
Last
even
year,
for
I
the
think it was
slowest
about
walker.
an hour, but last year
Yeah.
I'll mention we have an associate at Nature's Way, and she carried a 20-pound rucksack. You know, we thought she was going to stay out overnight, but, you know.
The And there
and
was,
she's going to be there again this year. She's not going to be carrying quite a heavy pack. But
wasn't there a woman in kind of a Cinderella costume too? That was?
we had, yep, we'll have some costumes hopefully this year, being closer.
It's Halloween.
To Halloween.
yeah.
That's right. Yep.
Wear your Superwoman costume
We
or
encourage costumes.
Captain America.
We don't know what Jack's going to be wearing yet. But.
No, that's true. I know I'll have the hat, but so what are the fees involved with this? Because we're trying to raise some funds for the Master Naturalists and the fine work that they do all over this area.
Actually, this year we have added a 10K. Mm-hmm. So the 5K is going to be $20, and the 10K is going to be $30, and that's if you pre-register at Ultra Sign Up or if you come into the store. We would like to have that by the Wednesday before the actual race. Allows us to kind of get things gathered and not be quite as hectic race morning. But you can register race morning like we did last year.
Okay, so you just show up and you can register and pay the fees and do whichever one you want to do. I would expect most of the who is it more likely that the runners will do the 10K as opposed to?
Yeah, I would say that more competitive athletes out there will try to do the 10K, or if they're preparing for the White River Marathon that's coming up in November, they might want to be on their feet for just a little bit longer. I am actually on the board with Paul Gigliotti, so I am able to run the half marathon this year because I got to work the second half.
There you go. So, yeah. What's your best time in the main marathon?
I have run 3:11 in a marathon, but it's probably been 6 years since I've run on the roads.
Yeah.
I'm typically off-road, and I like being out there in the
woods.
woods.
The difference in that type of marathon?
Oh, a marathon on the roads, it's really repetitive in your footsteps. Whenever
Is that
you get
harder
out.
on the joints?
In my opinion, it is. Yep. I have felt worse after a road marathon than I have after a 50-mile trail race.
50 miles. Just think about it. 50
That's
miles on the
Harrison.
trails, and you're not strolling looking at the scenery. You're running the things. That's why we're so pleased that Jake, who's a sports nutrition specialist at Nature's Way, and he answers people's questions about their sports nutrition all day long, basically what he does, and is been able to organize this. He started it last year with Nature's Way. We've been very, very proud of the work that Jake has done, and Ann has been very supportive of this whole process and been very helpful in helping us get together too.
That's cool.
So,
Could I say one
yeah,
more
absolutely.
thing? We're starting a new Master Naturalist in Training class in January. It starts on January 16th, and it will run through until May, and we'll graduate this will be our 6th class coming up. Our first class it'll be our 7th class because our chapter started in 2009. So anybody out there who would want to be interested in becoming a Master Naturalist, there are brochures at Nature's Way, and you can access the website, which would be Arkansas Master Naturalists, and get information there.
That's ArkansasMasterNaturalist.org.
.org, yep. It's a brand new website. We're kind of tweaking it as we speak, but and
nobody does that with websites.
We may be tweaking it for a good while, but and on the website it will say contact us, and anybody who clicks on that, their email will come to me.
Okay, good.
So there you have it. We're really excited about the Big Bluff Challenge. It'll be October 24th. It starts at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yep. And if you want to register that morning, we encourage that you get there by 7. That'll allow us to give a half hour to get stuff done, and then
just like Powerhouse Road, parking lot's on the left, right there.
It is. Yep. Yeah. Follow Powerhouse to the base of the dam in the parking lot. You can't miss it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'll be there early.
Further.
I'm probably going to camp out that night, so I'm going to get there bright and early and get things set up.
So come by the store and sign up, and let's have a great time. It's going to be a great event. You're going to see a beautiful trail. Jake's worked really hard on putting this whole package together, and once again, all of the proceeds from this program that Nature's Way is sponsoring will go to the Master Naturalists and their upkeep of the trails. So we're real pleased about that, and I want to encourage everybody to stay tuned for the second half of the show this morning as Jake and I will be talking about exercise regimens and how people can get started on that, and some common questions about how to improve your performance and exercise. So hang in for Nature's Way's third Thursday.
Third Thursday coming up. Well, while we're going to the news break real quick, you can check out the website natureswaymountainhome.com. That brings us up to news time. We'll be right back. 7:35 on this Thursday. It's time for Third Thursday with Jack Clayton of Nature's Way. Jack.
Thank you, Dale, and I'm so pleased to be able to have this time to sponsor Third Thursday with Nature's Way. We do this on the third Thursday of every month, and we will be talking every month about different health issues as Nature's Way focuses on value, quality, service, and knowledge. This is the knowledge portion, and we try to bring interesting features every week to folks on Third Thursday with Nature's Way. And today I'm so pleased to have with me Jake Anderson, who's a manager at Nature's Way, and he's also a sports nutrition specialist. Jake Anderson has a Master of Science. He's a CPT, RRCA certified running coach, and he's going to talk a little bit about exercise with me today. But Jake, first of all, why don't you explain what all these initials mean?
All right, very good. You kind of hit on the MS. It takes care of the big one, I think. I spent 6 years at Jonesboro at Arkansas State, getting my master's degree in exercise physiology. Mm-hmm. Once I completed those degrees, I was able to sit for some certifications through some governing bodies in exercise science. And one of them was through the American College of Sports Science, and that's my certified personal training certification. Mm-hmm. The other one that I'm really proud of is from the National Strength and Conditioning Association. It's a certified strength and conditioning specialist, and that one requires a degree to get. So not everybody can get that, say online, where a lot of the certifications are people are getting them now. So
that's the type of certification that you got to have if you're going to work in the pros
Exactly. Yep. And I actually spent some time working with the athletes there at Arkansas State with my graduate degree. I actually worked with the football players, and I was in control of what the baseball players were doing. Helped out with volleyball and basketball, track, even cheerleading.
So this enables you to better help our customers and answer their questions. I suppose you get a lot of pretty standard questions. I bet you get some kind of surprising ones too. But what kind of advice would you give someone who's thinking about starting a health and fitness routine?
Oh, the main one I see, and this one really sticks out, because when a person starts out too fast, that's where some problems can arise. So the first one I would say is probably be patient. The human body is an amazing tool, but it takes adaptation periods for those changes to take place. We see a lot of people coming into the store. They might have a sore joint. Their muscles are sore, and it's all because they started out too fast. They didn't really seek advice before they did it. They saw something in a magazine or saw something online, and they just decided to replicate that. So be patient and really kind of look at your resources. Come in, see me. I can help walk you through that.
It makes me think, just as an aside here, every January we go through this, where this is going to be the resolution time of the year, Mm-hmm. And I think, Jake, would you agree that a lot of folks get excited about it for a couple of weeks, but they go too fast and something bad happens, or they drop it.
It is, yep. And actually, there's an acronym that we can follow, and you might see it, and you might have read it before. It's FIT. It incorporates frequency, intensity, and time. Those are the three variables that you want to think about whenever you're starting a new exercise routine. So frequency, how many times a week are you going to be getting in a workout? The intensity, how hard are you going to be working for each of those? You don't want to have each workout being really hard and not allow your body to adapt, or you're just going to dig a hole with inflammation and possibly lead to injury. The third one is time. How much time are you going to dedicate to each workout? It doesn't have to be these long, drawn-out sessions. We can accomplish a lot in 10 to 20 minutes if we're doing the right exercises and using the right intensity, and then allowing for recovery.
I see. I think that's where people, I know I've certainly made that kind of mistake in the past. So once folks have, and we should say that you should probably talk with your doctor first, make sure you're going to be able to start a proper exercise regimen, and we want to make sure that is mentioned here. But, coming back to the January thing and starting out slowly, what kind of time frame do you think it takes folks to begin to see results with their exercise regimen?
Well, believe it or not, they're actually going to be experiencing results after the very first workout.
Really?
Our bodies are actually making these changes through muscle tissue changes. Whenever you're working out, say you're lifting a heavy load, we have these micro traumas that take place in the muscle cell, and it's actually in the recovery of that micro trauma that our muscles get stronger and more dense. So we see those happening after the very first workout. We also see changes in aerobic enzymes if you go for a walk. We see changes in our vascular system and its elasticity to help us regulate our blood pressure. We see changes in hormone levels, feel-good neurotransmitters, so all sorts of changes that take place after that very first workout. And then as we move on, as our body has adapted, it takes a little bit more stressors, so the workouts might need to increase in frequency. They might need to increase in intensity, or you might need to add more time to it. So there's those variables again.
I want to ask you a quick question right here. I don't want to take away from Jack's time here, but the importance of an exercise regimen for people my age and older. I'm 57.
Mm-hmm.
So from, say, age 55, 65, 75, that important?
Sure, and we know in your case you have a pre-existing condition. That's something that we got to take into consideration. So in that case, for our special populations or for seniors, we want to seek some advice. Don't just go into it blind. Taking that into consideration, a walk is typically going to be okay, but once we start getting into other modalities, if you're going to be getting on a bike, say you have a sore knee, that's going to be acceptable. Your resistance training, when you're adding those external loads, we got to be very careful with our biomechanics or how you're moving your body to make sure you're not going to injure yourself. So those are all good things to ask, and that's where you want to seek some advice.
I see we get a number of customers into Nature's Way with different issues, of course, and one of the things we focus on their health issues as they come in, but there seems to be a couple of different things that come into play with exercise. One is that people want to lose weight, and there's others that need to gain muscle mass. Now, maybe you've been ill or been inactive for some reason. This is, I think, particularly true of seniors, wouldn't you say, Jake?
Sure.
And especially after illness, as we age, and those kind of things just happen. Your muscles begin to atrophy a bit. So I'm thinking a lot in terms now of a senior who's been ill or otherwise or lost muscle mass. What would you suggest as a programmer? How would you structure a program for someone who needs to gain muscle rather than lose weight? Because honestly, most of these folks are pretty thin to begin with.
You bet. I actually see a lot of these questions in the store.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing that I ask a customer when they come in is, how are you doing with your nutrition?
Mm-hmm.
We have these tools and supplements in the store, but we want to focus on making sure that they're eating right, that they're getting 3 squares a day if they can.
Mm-hmm.
Don't skip breakfast. Make sure they're getting adequate protein, and that's actually where we can help them the most as far as supplements go and getting a quick shot in the arm. We have protein supplements. It can be animal-based or plant-based. We offer both, but that's a great way to get the amino acids that they need that's going to help them not only with their weight, but also with their immune system. So we can get all the aminos with one of our protein drinks, or we can isolate specific amino acids such as L-glutamine, and that's one that we see is very important with immune health. It's actually stored in greatest levels in our cells, so that's in abundance. When we think about amino acids in our body, L-glutamine is going to be very important. So as far as the weight factor, it comes into play there. But also, say a person's just getting ready to go into surgery. Say you got surgery coming up in a couple weeks. Going higher on that specific free-form amino acid L-glutamine can help build up their immune system going into surgery. So adequate calories. We're losing weight. We have a caloric deficit. We need to resolve that. And you can do that through whole food nutrition, which you can get in the store, your fruits, your vegetables, your nuts and seeds, your lean protein sources, grass-fed beef, free-range chicken, eggs. But then adding a protein drink, with around 20 grams of protein once or twice a day can really help fill a void and make sure that you don't have any more atrophy or muscle loss.
Let's come back to the protein thing for just a minute. Is there a kind of a guide that you use? You said 20 to 40 grams. Is that a pretty typical amount of protein, or is that extra protein someone should get, or is that what they need to have on a daily basis? How would you structure that?
If a person is losing weight and you're already noticing that, we need to get those calories back in the system, and
Right.
protein is going to be wonderful to prevent any further muscle loss. But to get all of that in one shot, it's going to be a little bit of a detriment to the body. It's hard on the kidneys. So I would focus on getting 20 grams at a time and doing that multiple times per day, as opposed to doing 40 grams at once.
Okay.
Our body actually absorbs it better when we do those smaller portions, multiple doses throughout the day instead of just one.
Let's grab a quick break so we can finish up Third Thursday with Jack Clayton and Jake Anderson. Be right back. 7:48, back with Jack and Jake. Third Thursday, Nature.
Well, we've been talking about exercise and how to get started on an exercise regimen, and some questions that come up when you're starting with exercise. I'd like to talk a little bit more about some of the supplements and things that might be appropriate for someone who's starting working with an exercise regimen. Jake, as a sports nutrition specialist, what supplements do you think are helpful? What's your top three?
Okay, top three. I'm going to break this up into two different areas here, one for performance and one for just starting out. And there's going to be some crossover between these, but just to allow myself to tell you about a few more supplements than just three. The top three for just starting out, protein powder, as we were just talking about, can help us get into an anabolic state and help us repair that tissue after a workout. So I think that one's very important. The next one I would say would probably be a good omega-3 supplement that has ample amounts of omega-3 EPA and DHA. Not all omega-3 supplements are created equal here.
We've talked about that a lot on this program.
A lot of confusion out there, and there's hundreds of different products. So looking for that specific EPA and DHA, and if you can take that one step further and try to get a triglyceride-bound product, it'll make it to where that's even more bioavailable, and it'll help with inflammation. It's going to help with our joints, cognition. It helps with the neuromuscular component because it actually helps with our body in transferring those nervous impulses to our muscle cells. Whenever we go to contract a muscle, it's our brain sending those signals, so it makes that more efficient. So I would say that would be second. And third is a newer supplement. It's called Beet Elite, and it's actually a concentrated nitrate source that helps with vasodilation. So it helps increase our body's ability to get oxygen out to our working muscles.
Is it safer? Is it safe for folks who are on, say, heart medications?
That is something we always recommend that you talk to your physician before you take something like this. Our body has the ability, our kidneys have the ability to regulate our blood pressure. But if you're already taking something that is lowering your blood pressure or a beta blocker, taking something like this that increases vasodilation can drop that blood pressure further. Right. So you want to be careful with that. Yes, we always ask, that you, we like to ask those questions, at Nature's Way. That's the first thing we're going to ask. But for, there's some carryover there for performance too. I have actually used this product before. 5K races, for longer races as well, and I don't have that experience of kind of dead legs at the beginning. It's kind of like my body has already warmed up, or at least my vascular system has warmed up, and my legs are able to go at a quicker turnover without the perceived exertion. So it's safe. It's much easier than eating 6 beets or drinking a couple quarts of beet juice. It's got a black cherry flavor, and you just mix it in with some cold water, and you drink that on an empty stomach before you're getting ready to work out.
So there's a number of different things that we can help with at Nature's Way. We talked a little bit this morning about protein as well, and there's proteins available in a lot of stores, but you got to understand that there's differences in those proteins and how you take them and the qualities of them. We've got a couple of minutes left. I'd like to talk just for a second. We've got a free trail hike. Coming up on October 10th?
We are, and we are planning. And Chris, she's going to try and get their trail team out there at the beginning of October. So we plan to have the trail clean so we can go out there and get a preliminary hike in for those that are interested in the Big Bluff Challenge and want to go out and get some practice, or they just want to experience the trail, one more time. It's going to be completely free. We are going to meet out at Bull Shoals White River State Park there at the base of the dam at the end of Powerhouse Road at 10 o'clock. So if you want to sign up and make sure that you get a spot, go ahead and stop by Nature's Way. I'm going to have a sign-up sheet.
That's October 10th at 10 o'clock.
October 10th, 10 o'clock.
Okay. And then the Big Bluff Challenge will be October 24th?
Yep, so it'll be 2 weeks before.
Okay. And so October 24th, you need to be out there at 8, by 7:30 or so.
If you're going to register that morning, I encourage you to be there by 7.
Okay.
Yes. 7 to 7:30 is when we're going to do the registration. That allows us to get the goodie bags out and just have some time to warm up and socialize, before we get the ball rolling.
Well, that's great, and all the funds from the Big Bluff Challenge are going to go to support the Master Naturalists. It's a $20 fee for the
5K, 30 for the 10K, and I want to mention that we have a local artist that is creating individual awards for each finisher. It's going to be very neat.
Oh, this is really cool. I'd forgotten about this, but Jake's arranged for a local artist to create something for everybody that finishes, so as everybody gets a prize.
Yep, everybody gets a prize. Very unique. And it's going to be 2015 on this one, so we want to make this, this is an annual thing, and then we'll have a chance to come out next year and get a 2016.
Well, thank you so much, Jake, for all of this and all of the work that you've done to support the Master Naturalists and the work that you do for our customers at Nature's Way as a sports nutrition specialist. We encourage anybody that's thinking about an exercise regimen to come in and talk to Jake and to get some information there. And don't forget, Dale, today is Neighbor's Mill Bread Day.
Oh! The stampede begins.
Now, all of us,
6 minutes.
All of us who, that's exactly right. All of us who is actually, it's getting onto the sales floor as we speak. All of us who are listening right now, please don't tell anybody. It's a secret. If we'll have to have a quiet word if you start spreading this out. But if you want your Neighbor's Mill bread, get in there bright and early this morning. We've got fresh produce available as well, and we do have fresh chicken in. This will be the last delivery of fresh chicken from Peace Valley this year.
Really?
So, yeah, they're out of chickens. So we're gonna we ate them all. So the chicken is fresh for we'll have it fresh for about another day, and then you'll find it frozen. But at the end, come on in and try this Peace Valley chicken. It is in stock right now as we speak, as is the Neighbor's Mill bread and all of those fine things at Nature's Way, the health food store on the square.
Check out the website, natureswaymountainhome.com. There's all types of information there, and then go visit Jack or Jake or Ruth Ann.
Absolutely. Come on in and talk to us, ask questions. That's what we do. And sign up for our newsletter. You can save money.
You bet. Thanks, guys, for being here. Enjoyed
Thank you,
it.
Dale.
That
Thank you
wraps
very
it up.
much.
We'll be back tomorrow. Have a great day.